Star Trek is owned by CBS Studios, Inc. Look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering. Thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines. Every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor, and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. Imagination will often carry us to worlds that never were, but without it we go nowhere. Somewhere, something incredible is waiting to be known. These are the voyages of the USS Pegasus.
Well, if no one's doing anything in particular, I wanted to go talk to the doctor.
All right.
So,
Kelle's hanging out in her office.
Excellent. So,
unless anyone's actively dying.
Yennek will go to the office and ask the doctor, is this a good time to converse? I had some questions for you about the artificial intelligence, Teal.
Yes, now works for me. What were your questions?
I'm more trying to develop a means of defending the rights of the artificial intelligence to evolve on its own. So there was some things I wanted to kind of run by you to get your medical answers to it, and perhaps this will be something that will come up in a trial. So, what is your definition of life in the medical terminology?
Well, medically speaking, I'm not going to be able to claim that Teal is alive, as generally we reserve that for organic species, biological functions all working. You could say the brain has to be active. Some people will consider someone no longer alive if they are brain dead, even if the rest of the body continues to function. I am unaware of any precedents for declaring life in terms of anything like Teal.
The brain functions by electrical impulses being sent to it.
That is true.
So in what way does that differ from the way the artificial intelligence operates? Would you say that life consumes fuel to produce energy? It grows.
I would say so, yes.
So is that something like fire, for example?
Fire does consume fuel and produce energy. However, I do not believe it is generally considered to be alive. Certainly not in my medical training, anyway.
But what about the way that, like, fire can create other things? It doesn't reproduce itself, but it does create other things, like fire applied to some crystals in a form of energy powers our ship.
All right.
Like in terms of generating an exothermic reaction.
Yes.
So I'm trying to get a good definition of why the AI could not be considered as being something that should be given the chance to grow and evolve.
Oh,
I'm trying to argue that she should, and I
agree.
trying to play devil's advocate here with you.
No, I understand. I believe it might be more worthwhile to focus on the concept of personhood rather than of life, as I personally believe it would be easier to prove that Teal has a sense of self and a consciousness than it would be to convince many people to expand their definition of life to include the inorganic.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I just want to digest every word of that before I break it down. That's all.
All right. I believe that if you wish to argue that Teal should be allowed to develop and grow, that you may have more luck if you focus less on trying to define her as a life form, but instead just focus on her existing as a person.
Okay, we won't dwell on it then. That's okay. All right, that is good. I will take that under advisement. Thank you for your help, Doctor.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, I should probably check in on the quartermaster too to see that everything is. What are we running out of? What do we need more? You know, that kind of stuff. Any special requisitions to be met when we're docked at Narendra Station?
He's also been doing a little bit more research into her. Maybe having a look at some of the code that actually makes her work. And just seeing what that's about.
Is that like the equivalent of if you were trying to learn more about a person and you're like, I'm just gonna like cut them open and look around in them a bit just to see?
I mean, it is a little bit like that.
Well, it's not non-invasive.
No, it's just if you're like, I don't know. Well, nothing in my values says I wouldn't do paperwork, so I shall continue to do paperwork.
Pull the ship out of warp. I'm assuming Hunt's probably piloting as we approach Stranger Station. I'm assuming Captain's on deck. Open up comms. Narendra Station. This is USS Pegasus requesting docking.
Docking cleared, Bay 3.
All right. Hunt pulls around Bay 3. Realizes that's the other side of the station, so he banks around the station. Okay, low number, so it's internal, and it's a bay. So the outer doors open up as Hunt brings the ship around, just sort of a glide around to the left, and almost sort of slides the ship into alignment and glides it in smoothly in through the outer doors, and nestles the ship over towards docking bay number 3. The ship shudders a little bit as the docking clamps take hold. And Hunt looks up. We're all docked, Captain. Wow, I've actually never seen one of those before, and I know my ships. Hunt doesn't recognize this ship.
Does it look like a Federation ship?
You've probably not.
It's very angular.
You've probably not seen it before.
Okay. Well, we have to check in with the station and ensure they have a security dispatch to come to the ship to escort our prisoners. And also, if there's any people we have from that planet, because we have a rather full manifest right now of people and objects and things, so we're going to need several different teams of people to come from the station to collect everything.
And the captain is looking at his data pad at a set of orders that have come in. He's reading through that. And the station confirms via text that they are making arrangements to temporarily house some of the aliens that you had rescued from the planet, and making arrangements to collect the three prisoners.
3, yeah, the doctor and the 2 others, right?
So Hunt's looking at that ship going, it's almost like the Defiant, but it's not. The Warbler cells are weird. That is one weird looking ship. Anyway, Hunt's at the I guess standing on the bridge at the view screen, just looking at this ship. Well, that ship at the other docking bay. That's all he'll be doing.
And the captain stands up and hits his comm badge. He says, "Security, escort the 2 officers to my ready room. XO, if you please." And he walks into his ready room.
I'll walk in there as well.
Who's on the bridge? Just to be clear.
Hunt is looking. He's gotten up from the con, and he's standing over at the view screen, looking at this weird-looking ship.
Aura's there. He's doing something sciencey at a panel and seems fairly engrossed.
Something sciencey. And Kelle is not on the bridge. She's never really there unless someone tells her to be.
Yennek was there because he was obviously, like, if they're coming in to dock or anything like that, he's probably supposed to be there, I think. And he would have been contacting to see about the different teams of people coming.
And a couple of minutes later, the door on the turbolift slides open, and there is 2 security personnel, and there is 2 men with them who are dressed in black uniforms, and they have Starfleet comm badges. And security walks them, but probably by Aura, who would, if he's at his science station, to the captain's ready room.
Okay, figured.
So the security stay outside, They come in, and the captain pushes the data pad over to the XO and says, I am not particularly happy with these orders. Captain, these orders come from Starfleet, from the highest levels.
Okay, so just to play it correctly, are you satisfied that these people are who they say they are?
They are, Mr. Yennek.
Has the Vulcan or whatever, the Vulcan government, been notified that their doctor, who is a member of Starfleet, I suppose, is going to be transferred to their custody?
They will be informed at due time. At this moment, it is strictly a Starfleet matter.
With regards to the other item, extreme care must be taken.
The usefulness of the AI will not be overlooked. It's why it is being transferred to our care.
There is still study being done on this AI and this, we need some kind of assurance.
Oh, we can assure you, Mr. Yennek, that there will be much study done on the AI. That study will not discontinue.
No, I'm talking about an assurance to be given to Dr. Lazopoulos' daughter that the proper respect for the work of her deceased father will be carried out. He was not doing his work under the auspices of Starfleet regulation. He was not an enlisted member of Starfleet, to my knowledge. So it would be illogical for you to take his work without properly making an arrangement with his sole heir.
If any arrangement needs to be made, it will be made. However, the dangers of unrestricted AI are well known.
Maybe then what to do is allow me to prepare the, whatever kind of containment that we have the thing in right now. Allow me to prepare that for you.
That is acceptable.
Okay. So at that moment, then I come back out to the bridge and look for Lieutenant Thatcher.
He's still at the terminal.
Okay.
Pressing buttons.
And I tell him, in some way, can you establish a link via a tricorder or something? Is there a way that you can enable communication with the AI?
Like to talk to it?
Is there anything that you can do? I kind of torn here. Is there a way that you can put some kind of tracking code into the AI to embed it deep so that we would be able to know its whereabouts and with the AI being aware of it?
I could probably do that, Commander, but
okay.
I would
just because
Starfleet's
you've developed the better rapport with it to this point, I think.
Is this an order from Starfleet?
It is an order from your captain.
Alright, I will get to it then. It might take a little bit of time, but I'm confident I can do something like that.
Time is a luxury we do not have a lot of. However, this is to be kept in the strictest confidence between yourself, myself, and the captain. And the captain.
Captain
Lockley. Sorry, yes. Just had to go back a few pages.
Wow, so many Starfleet regs are being broken everywhere.
I know. But I'm not. I either completely succumb to it or, thanks for the no-win situation, DM. That's my Kobayashi Maru right there. No, I'm okay with Section 31 doing what they do, but I don't want the AI. What I want is irrelevant, but I would rather not see the AI be twisted to a use that denies its right to exist and evolve on its own. How's that?
Kelle doesn't. She just saw some people in uniform walk by.
I don't know who that is. Out of character. So.
Wait, you don't out of character?
Yep.
Or do you do out of character?
I do not.
Oh.
Ah.
They're wet work, basically. they're the.
Well, it's okay because I probably don't know who that is in character. So
Hunt's admiring this ship that he's looking at, going, "Wow, such sleek design, such awesome curves. It's a lovely ship. What a landscape."
He's saying that out loud.
What a landscape.
Why would he say that out loud?
I don't know. We don't know what he would do.
No, he's just sitting there with his hands behind his back, just admiring the ship. And I'm assuming he sees the Section 31 has come on board into the bridge. Yeah. Oh, well, he might have, and then realized, oh.
But he's never seen any black uniforms before, and they're clearly uniform, not civvy clothes.
No, but there'd be stories.
There'd be rumors, yeah. But I mean, it's not like they don't teach in the academy, Section 31.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all aware that they exist, but we probably wouldn't have ever been formally introduced to them. So this probably would have been the first time I would have been introduced to them myself, or Yennek, right? He wouldn't. But same type of thing. We've all heard stories when we were in Starfleet and stuff, right? In the academy, we were, everybody's heard stuff about, oh, did you hear they did this?
But then everyone goes, that's not true. Everyone says that, but...
Well, I would think it's a bit more... it's a bit more grounded in reality than that. But I mean, I think we would probably be very aware that such an entity does exist within Starfleet. It's just, it could be one of those things where it's blown out of proportion, is no one sees them and lives to tell about it type of thing. And it's like, well, here we just saw them, but most of us don't know that we just saw them. At this point, only the captain and Yennek know that we just saw them.
So what's the general... Were they in the captain's quarters discussing this?
Ready room.
In the ready room.
Yeah.
So I would have heard it on the bridge?
No.
Nope. Okay. So ignorance is bliss on the Hunt's part. I'm assuming they're taking the crazy Vulcan. With who?
Aura.
All right.
One of the people in your inventory.
Yes.
And it probably looks a little cagey. Not shoddy, not shady, but...
Aura looks cagey?
Well, the conversation, and based on also how Chris asked them that, you've been around them enough to know, learn some body language. You can't hear it, but it doesn't appear to be a regular conversation.
Okay.
It doesn't feel just like scan something, where auras or, he responds a certain way. It seemed a little more tense than normal.
I will say Aura feels pretty uncomfortable about the conversation. Like things aren't really above board. Like maybe the captain is going behind Starfleet's back or something because it's an unusual request.
Wow, we have a long way to go to develop trust among the crew with the captain, I think. And I mean, I agree with you, Chris. Out of character, I'm totally thinking, yeah, realistically we would be, but that just kind of shows how far we've got to go to develop as a ship crew,
The guys dressed in black uniforms still in the ready room? With the captain. And Yennek's out here.
Yes.
Yes. So Yennek asked them if he could go make arrangements to have the AI
Okay.
taken from its location and readied for transport. And so what I was doing was I asked Lieutenant Thatcher to do that, but additionally to do something else, and that was the part that was kind of speaking in quiet tones so the rest of the bridge doesn't hear.
I guess like Hunt notices and he's looking. He's still got his hands, clasped behind his back with a raised eyebrow, but he's like up the front of the bridge, so he can't actually hear what's going on.
Hey, you can't do the raised eyebrow. That's my thing.
Well, Hunt's doing it because he's sort of interested in this interaction with. Anyway, enough for a Vulcan to cause some obviously, uncomfortability with one of his fellow officers. Hunt sort of mingles on over. So, as he's going past the con station, he's, touches a couple of things as if to, keep things updated. Is everything all right, Commander?
Everything is fine, Commander. Return to your post.
Very well.
Well, no, we'll have a discussion at a later time.
The trust and shoes. Where he looks at the post and there's a red shirt sitting at the con. So he walks back over to the bridge view screen and he's like examining the looking at the ship again, just because he swore he knew nearly every ship in Starfleet, and this is one ship he has not seen. So he's taking mental note of every little detail. And actually, what he would probably be doing is going back to the con and
see what it was logged as.
To see what it was logged as, what their registration is, if that comes up on the con, and maybe running a few scans on it.
Aaron's debating how hard he wants to shut this down. Right?
No. Did Mr. Hunt read any of the reports that Aura or Yennek did from the sphere?
From the sphere?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Unless he was requested
nope,
to.
Then you don't get a really valuable piece of information.
Oh. See, paperwork's important.
No, it's up to you. I just...
Really? How could I put that two and two together?
Well, if you'd have read the reports, then that's how you would know.
That's fair. I mean, he doesn't know something, so.
Mm-hmm.
So you wanted a scan?
I want to, because that was part of his focus as well. Registration, class of ship, armament, speed, crew. How long's it been in service?
You're just gonna get a bunch of nothing.
Or it just says something it very clearly isn't.
Okay.
What?
The first one. Yep. Really? More knowledgeable.
Well, it is doing, in a way, what Mr. Yennek said about if you scan an area of space that doesn't exist, the area around it, you will learn something from what you don't know.
All right. So Hunt's doing this sort of on the sly. He's not it's not really noticeable. So obviously, he's shooed the red shirt away and he's sat down at the con. Mm-hmm.
When I finish talking to Thatcher, I'll go back into the ready room. And I did make sure I told Thatcher to keep this between himself, myself, and the captain.
And you walk back in and the captain's like, all through this conversation, you've mentioned Starfleet a great deal, but Federation not once. And they're like, Captain, you know, being out here, how dangerous it is, how many threats the Federation is now facing. Are you really prepared to leave the defense of the Federation in the hands of politicians who have their own agendas? They will catch up. They look at the XO. You ready to transport the AI?
Yes. It's being prepped right now. The AI was being kept in its own isolated compartment in one of the docking bays, and that's being addressed at this moment. The prisoners, you guys should have arranged for a security detail to take the prisoners.
We have, yes.
Okay. So that was communicated ahead, so that is fine.
But we're a organization of peace, first and foremost, and exploration. None of this is Starfleet's mandate. There are times, Captain, when we face the threats that we face, that we have to do things that are considered off-book.
Are these people in the suits human?
Yes.
Okay.
He's looking at them, and he's just like, but even this prisoner transfer, this was a case of the JAG office. Why are you involved? And they're like, her knowledge is invaluable. Why? That's classified. He's like, this goes against...
Damn it. I know, I'm wishing I had gone down to talk to the Vulcan, and now I'm like, I can't leave again. This is gonna look really... Excuse me again, just one moment, right? Damn it, I had one chance and I blew it.
Thatcher leave the bridge as well?
Yes, so Aura has left and is currently in the turbo lift on the way down to storage to do what was asked of him.
Pros, it adds another D20, which is important.
Right.
Cons, you're not supposed to tell anyone.
Well, you are pulling someone else into something that it sounds like you're not entirely happy with either.
Yeah, I think I would probably do it solo. And can the ship help me?
Yes, it can.
Or
Any
okay.
one, like Trekcore, ship, computer, any one thing you're using will give you a die.
Okay, so I can use my determination?
Yep.
That's...
What's your value?
So my value would be that everything needs to be studied or cataloged. And the idea is I personally want to keep track of Teal.
All right.
Regardless of what my commander has told me to, I also want to know where Teal is going to be. And maybe I am also coding something that will send information back to us about her status. Just like a small binary, almost like a heartbeat kind of thing. Yeah.
Mr. Yennek, are you doing anything?
Depends. If I'm back in the ready room, if I haven't been contacted about anything, I don't know what's going on outside of that.
That is correct.
So maybe I will ask then why the concern with the Vulcan, and maybe the other question I would ask is that how did they learn of Dr. Lazopoulos' research?
Oh, we read the Pegasus's mission brief that was sent in.
But the mission brief didn't say anything about how far along the project was.
That is correct.
So may I ask what path of logic led you to the conclusion that you need to acquire this artificial intelligence?
With the universe being a dangerous place, and the Borg still being out there, having a sense of control is for the safety of all citizens of the Federation, and any AI research needs to be pursued.
And the research from Dr. Teal?
The study of black holes, the ability to possibly use them as a weapon, that's a good way to end enemy threats once and for all.
I don't think the situation at Omega Draconis was based with the black hole being used as a weapon.
Perhaps not, but perhaps the founders were just short-sighted. The power of such a weapon cannot be ignored.
I'm not going to get into it with the Section 31, so it does kind of put me in an awkward spot here. Speak with Dr. Teal before she is released to your custody.
I'm sorry, that's not possible. She's now part of our concern. When will the AI be ready to be transported?
I can tap my communicator and talk to Lieutenant Thatcher and let him know that our guests are inquiring as to the readiness status of transferring the artificial intelligence to their custody.
It's just about ready. How long has it been?
I don't know, you tell me.
Okay, I'll say it's been 29 minutes.
Okay.
And 15 seconds.
Yeah, so just about done here, Commander. Just a couple more things, and she'll be ready to go.
And I'll just explain to the guys from Section 31 that it was quite a significant power draw on the system, and we have to make sure that the entire system is transferred to you and does not cripple the ship when we disconnect power.
Thank you for your cooperation, Captain. And they leave the ready room.
I was thinking of trying to do, like, when we started asking them questions, I wanted to see about what kind of a role would it be to see if they were sweating at all for answers, but we didn't really have... We just know enough not to really contest these guys too much. Okay, so then I will, if they leave, I will tell the captain, I think we're going to have a talk with the senior crew about everything that's gone on in the last few missions, because obviously they're going to have to be made aware of non-disclosure arrangements, things of that regard.
Non-disclosure arrangements, Exo?
Yes, anything that deals with the AI or the sphere or Dr. Teal, I would think it's in our best interest to keep this stuff to ourselves for the time being. I'm assuming the captain would be in full agreement.
He's listening.
With this. If
he's
listening. Not, I will sound it off on him. If he thinks it's fine that we talk about it, then whatever. I'm thinking of the safety of the crew.
And about 10 minutes later, Kelle sees the 3 prisoners in shackles getting escorted off the ship.
All right. Lots of people walking by her office today.
Otherwise, all this stuff happens all around the ship, and she's like, "It's a quiet day."
Yeah, she's just still kind of...
Nothing happened today. It's a quiet day.
I got all my reports done, and then no one was really sick.
It's great.
Yeah, I'm
so quiet. What did you do?
Sitting here drinking tea. Oh dear.
And they leave the ship, and then some techs come and transport the AI away on a hover sled.
If Yennek was able to express emotions, he would probably walk onto the bridge and big exhale. Like, okay. But he doesn't, so he doesn't do that.
Oh, which would have drawn Hunt's attention. But
Exactly, but he's a Vulcan, so of course he's not going to do that.
yeah.
Yes, everyone would have been like, "Oh, the world is
Yeah,
ending."
Hunt's just examining the con panel at the moment. If you walk past the con panel, you would have noticed that there's some limited information about the ship that's opposite you guys in the port, or opposite us in the port, at the station, should I say?
What do we see? Yes.
Oh, so he's actually pulled
Sorry,
up.
yeah. What did you see? Yeah. Sorry, that's.
So Hunt looks up. Well, obviously they know that I've scanned them, but I mean, I'm not overly worried about that. But everything else is there's not much information that I can find on this ship, and I thought I knew every ship in Starfleet. So obviously there's like I was actually inspecting it before, and there's elements of Starfleet design in that ship. I almost say that it's got elements of the Defiant class sort of starship, but there's been Romulan influences in the design of this ship. Probably would hedge the bet that's probably got cloaking capabilities as well. The material itself was reflecting all the scans that I was doing on that ship. Interesting piece of machinery right there. He's looks up, but he's almost looking at the ship admiringly.
Oftentimes, war is the necessity that drives advancements in technology.
Yeah, of course.
It is a sad truism of the universe, but it is true nevertheless.
So, I thought it was just a quick catch and grab. It's peculiar that Starfleet intelligence would be interested in an AI, and also the people that we rescued from the sphere. What's all that about? You seem to take a little while in the ready room with them. Have any more ethical discussions, Commander?
No, none at all. Actually, we were simply asking them questions on how they came to even know of the people we apprehended, and of the AI that we acquired. Suffice it to say, they are very well informed.
Well, they appear to be, and I actually haven't even submitted my reports yet, so I'm impressed.
When dealing with this section, you don't question them too much.
Of course. Well, it's only an AI. What were we going to do with it? Essentially, our job was just to deliver it to Narendra Station. So, if Starfleet intelligence can find a good way to utilize it in, I guess, the defense of the Federation, then wouldn't that not be a good thing? Or do you think we might be playing with something that they might not fully understand? We could end up with another Borg situation.
Well, it's an interesting premise. I think the AI should have been allowed to evolve at its own pace to its conclusion of its programming, and I think at that time it would have made its own mind up what it wanted to do. Maybe it would have been another Commander Data. Maybe it would be something entirely against the wishes of Starfleet. My point is, it should have been allowed to choose for itself.
He puts his hands behind his head and he looks up at Yennek. We're talking about an AI here. I thought it had already developed as far as it could go. Seriously, how much more advanced could this thing get? I mean, I'm just a pilot, but it didn't seem that intelligent to me. It's pretty...
The AI told us itself that it required an additional 3 to 6 months of
to finish the research.
Time to finish the research. Correct. Conclusion of that research might have led to some interesting revelations.
Hunt raises both eyebrows. Well, and he gets this confused look on his face. To what end? It's all philosophical. So, how's this going to, allow this AI to evolve? So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's basically a computer system, an advanced computer system. I would admit that, but definitely something I would not want troping around in my systems while I'm flying the ship. If it has a thought of its own, thinking, well, there's that asteroid in front of us, and suddenly she takes over. Does this thing consider things like self-preservation? Do the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few?
Who's getting philosophical now? My goodness.
Well, you asked the question. And I hate philosophy.
I have philosophy as a focus on my character.
Well, and I'm here. My role here is just to fly the ship and keep you guys out of trouble. So, and I don't want an AI running around in my systems, messing things up.
Nor do
I don't trust anything other than my own hands and my own brain. And even then, I can't trust that at times. So if I can't trust that, how can I trust an AI?
We are in agreement on that item.
Well, if anyone can find a useful use for that, it'll be Starfleet intelligence, that's for sure. So what were you exactly up to before Hunt looks at Yennek, with almost a curiosity sort of gaze?
That is a scientific matter that for the time being will have to remain between Lieutenant Thatcher, myself, and the captain.
His eyes narrow. Okay. All right. I won't pry. If I don't know anything about it, then I can't blab about it. So, yep. I hate orders to be kept quiet. What is the process, Commander? So they're taking the prisoners, which that in itself is pretty confusing, but I guess with their experiences on board the Sphere, and it almost looks as though it dawns on him, and he's like, did we leave this Sphere intact? Was that alien artifact still in operation when we left? I'm assuming Ken's not remembering this either. I know I can't really. Forgive me, Commander, but I never read the reports. So, I mean, I know the Sphere was there when we left it, but did we leave it that it was still, engaged in doing what it needed to do? I'm just saying that. What exactly was it doing? Because, if Starfleet intelligence looks at those reports and goes, well, this could be certainly weaponized. Oh my goodness. That could be an ethical conundrum right there. We've actually just left something for Starfleet intelligence to go and play with. But essentially that thing's still sitting out there. And I mean, I'm no science officer, as you know. Could that thing be reactivated? Or the technology reverse engineered? Which is probably one reason why in Starfleet intelligence is here. So, if you're wondering that, then that's probably the first reason. The second reason would be, and there's an AI. If I was them, I would be like, that is such a bonus. We've found 2 potentially useful destructive weapons within the span of almost one sortie.
Exactly. As a perfect question of all science, I'll begin it with I don't know, which is the foundation of all knowledge.
Okay.
No,
well,
I mean, I suppose they could try to restart the thing, but in all honesty, I have no idea if they could or not.
Well, I'm just a pilot. As far as my interest would be concerned, is if I could fly it. If I can't fly it, then I'm not interested in it. We're talking about Starfleet intelligence. If they can weaponize it, they would be interested in it. So I guess that's all I'm saying.
Yes, I'm sure that's what they are interested in is in weaponizing it. But
and he's Hunt's got his hands up in the air like as if he's surrendering. I got nothing against Starfleet intelligence. They do a lot of the dirty work that some of the normal, and he double quotes in the air, normal Starfleet officers can't bring themselves to do.
Commander Yennek's comm badge goes off, and it's Aura. Say, Commander, it's some men have come down here and are loading Teal onto off the ship onto Narendra Station. Should I stop them? Or are they supposed to be there?
And I would not recommend interfering with them. Allow them to proceed. Make sure they take all precautions necessary. And I don't know, DM, could I go down there and observe with Lieutenant Thatcher, or is it lickety split? They're done.
Oh, well, they're not going to take ages.
I get there.
No, but you'll be there at the end of it.
Yeah, just out of the paranoia, if it's not actually people from Starfleet doing it or something, right? If there's anything that you can catch that looks out of ordinary or anything like that. Because if Starfleet's interested in it, then other race intelligences might be interested in it as well.
And you get there, and they're loading it onto a hover cart. They look like techs, but then again, they would.
Is it pointless to even ask who might be the person that's going to be looking into it?
I don't know. They're probably not going to tell you, but
maybe not the person, but if they can say, well, this is going to go to this department or something.
Are you going to ask?
Yeah, certainly. Just in the most vaguest of terms, right? Like, just I can't do it emotionally, but basically I'm saying, where are you taking her? Like that. But this, maybe I'll just point out that the thing was still completing research.
Okay. And they tell you the
Daystrom Institute should be allowed to finish that research. Okay, so if it's going to the Daystrom Institute, it should be allowed to finish the research that it was completing on behalf of Dr. Lazopoulos. And that's all. I'm not organizing a sit-in protest or anything. I'm just pointing out the fact that it should be given the chance to complete the research before it is researched on itself. And then I guess we'll contact, if Aura or Yennek or anybody knows anybody at the Daystrom Institute, they can maybe contact that person and describe it a little more cleanly to say.
And they remove the AI from the ship. The Voyages of the USS Pegasus utilizes the excellent official rules Star Trek Adventures released by Mephidius Games. Featuring Emily as Lieutenant Kelle, Shadow as Lieutenant Aura, Raveninsane as Commander Hunt, Ken as Commander Yennek, and Ghost as the GM. Many of the sounds come from Syrinscape, an excellent app for bringing more life to your gaming table. You can find us at critfail.com.